Today, I want to talk about a new marketing strategy for indie game devs struggling to get attention in wish lists. Hey, how's it going? My name is Dariusz, and what most people think game marketing is about techniques, right? Like, creating content, posting it on social media, getting a YouTuber to talk about your game, or, giving out game keys to journalists, or, having a slick trailer, or getting a professional Steam page done, right? But how many indie game devs have tried all of these techniques, and no matter how hard they try to market, they are still not getting attention and they're still not getting wish lists despite all this effort, right? Is their game bad, or is it too niche, or maybe they just suck at all these marketing techniques? Well, I don't think so, and here's actually what's going on. It's because once you try to compete for attention, you've already lost. So no matter how hard you try, all these marketing techniques, you've already lost, because competing for attention is not a good strategy, especially if you're a small indie game dev studio with no connections or no money for marketing, right? So in this video, in this article, I want to share with you a new marketing strategy where you basically avoid competing for attention, and I'll share with you a technique to help you as a small indie game dev get more attention and increase your chances of getting more wish lists. So here's what you need to know, and later I'll show you exactly what to do. So the first thing I want to talk about is don't compete for attention, look for a new category. So to help you understand this concept I'm about to share with you, I'm going to go into your world. And so once you understand, how this concept works and it clicks with you, then I promise you'll approach marketing your indie game dev in a whole new way, and in a way that will increase your chances of getting, attention and wish lists. All right, let's talk about you first. So what game engine are you using to make your game, right? I'm asking because if you notice, you picked a certain game engine because it fits your needs better than all the others, right? So for example, Unity's category is, big teams making games or movies, or, even in the manufacturing industry. Then you have Unreal, where, their category is, developer first. They focus on helping, game devs make high quality, high fidelity, 3D games. And yeah, they do 2D games too, but mostly they focus on high graphic 3D games. Then you have Godot, whatever, right? Their category is for, indie game devs making, 2D or even sometimes 3D games. And it's free, it's open source, and it's all, cross-platform. And then the categories get even smaller, where, you have RPG Maker for, game devs making RPG games. And then even, Shmup Creator, where, there's devs making shoot 'em ups or, bullet hells, right? So now this is the core concept I want you to click with, right? So each game engine is not competing with each other. Each game engine has their own very specific niche they found, right? And in other words, they found a category and they aim to dominate that, specific category. So that's how they manage to get your attention, right? So what I mean is you have a very specific need, and one game engine fills that need better than all the others, right? So it wasn't slick marketing, it wasn't, cool trailers, it wasn't getting bombarded by ads from, these game engines. What got your attention is because one game engine feels like it was made exactly for you and for your needs, right? So the main key core concept I want you to learn in here is it's not about marketing techniques, it's about creating categories that solve a player's need. So the reason your game is not getting attention is not because, it's too niche or that your marketing sucks. It's not getting attention because to the player, your game doesn't feel like it's made for them, right? So think about it this way. If you're making a 2D RPG game, then Unity does not feel like it's made for you. There's too many features, there's too many bells and whistles that you gotta learn, the learning curve is too high, right? But Godot or RPG Maker is better fit for you because it feels like it's exactly made for you and for your needs, right? It's the same thing with your players. So for example, say you're making a puzzle game. Millions of people love puzzle games, right? But it's so hard to compete in this genre, in this market, and get attention, because to a player, when they see a lot of puzzle games, these puzzle games all feel the same. And this isn't just for, the puzzle genre, it's for almost every genre, right? Again, think back to your game engine. So, Unity, Unreal, Godot, RPG Maker, they spent a lot of time crafting their marketing message to make sure that people know what category their game engine is in, right? So it's the same with your game, right? You need to drill down and you need to create a new category so that you're not competing, but instead you're differentiating yourself from all the other thousands of games that are fighting for attention in your genre, right? So, and I'm not saying that you got to go out and create a new genre, because that's really hard to do. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to clearly understand how your game is different from other games in your genre, and then you need to clearly communicate that so that players can understand what your category is, and you basically have 3 seconds to do it, right? So this concept I'm trying to share with you is very simple. Don't compete, because the minute you try to compete, you've already lost. A better marketing strategy is to create a new category, then craft a marketing message in a way that your player knows exactly what category you're in. And don't worry, we'll get into the nuts and bolts, but this works because just like you, people want to play games that feel that they're made for, just for them. And this is how you cut through the noise and grab people's attention, because when people feel your game is made specifically for them, for their needs, for their wants, then you'll increase your chances of grabbing their attention, and also, increase your chances of wishlisting your game. But if your game looks and feels like all the other games out there, doing the same thing, people are going to ignore it because they're bombarded, all day for their attention, right? So they're going to ignore a lot of their stuff unless it's, specifically for them. So how do you use this concept you just learned to help you grab attention and get more wish lists? Well, let's keep going. Next, I'll show you exactly what to do. So how do you create a new category so that, it grabs attention and it increases your chances of wish list? Let's talk about that next. So people put more effort into, solving a problem than they will in trying to, gain something. And not always, right? But this is the best way I know how to get a person's attention, and that is to clearly show and tell them that you know their problem, and then show and tell them that, you have the solution, right? So for example, Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? The first game. The devs found a problem in the medieval RPG genre, right? Basically a lot of medieval RPG games are either cartoon fantasy or dark fantasy, right? But what if there was no fantasy, right? There was no magic, there's no, fairies, none of that, right? By solving this problem, they created a new category, basically a realistic medieval RPG game, right? And that got attention. And I'll put up their marketing here and you can pause it to read it, but honestly, it's one of the best marketing I've ever seen. And it's very simple and it's not hard to come up with, right? It's basically knowing what problem you're solving. Okay, here's another example. So there are very few good hockey games on PC. So, tape to tape, the devs for that game found a problem and solved it, right? They saw that there are no good PC games, good PC hockey games, so they set out to make one, right? And this simple message got a lot of attention because, there's a lot of, fans, hockey fans that want to play a good PC game, hockey game, right? So my point is, you don't need anything complicated to create your own category and get attention. It's as simple as finding one problem your game is trying to solve and then use that as your core marketing message, right? So again, Unity, made for big teams making entertainment in games and film and in manufacturing, right? Unreal for game devs making high fidelity, 3D games. Godot, whatever, for small indie game devs making, 2D or even 3D games, right? Or Shmup Creator or RPG Maker, right? Very specific categories for specific needs, right? And again, the message is so simple, and to get your message that simple, all you have to do is, figure out what problem your game is solving in your genre. So let me show you exactly how to do that. All right, so here's your action step right now. So I believe that knowing is not the same as doing, right? I know how to shoot a three-pointer, right? I watch Steph Curry's, three-point tips on YouTube, but the minute I step on the line, it's a different story. It's just air balls basically, right? So my point is, you need to take action. You need to practice, these new concepts you just learned, because otherwise, all these tips and, techniques you just learned will just go to waste. So this is what you need to do right now. Open a Google document, save it, and call it Marketing Strategy, Creating a New Category. Okay, good. Okay, now on top of the document, all I want you to do is answer this question. What problem is your game solving? Again, it's that simple. What are the problems in your genre? How is your game, trying to solve those problems? So take 10 minutes to figure this out. And this is very important because answering this question is, the fundamental building block of all your marketing that you're going to do, right? So all those techniques, posting on social media, making trailers, this is the core message that you're trying to get out there to help you differentiate your game from other games, in your genre. Again, try to make that new category. And if you're really stuck at this, then you can go to Steam and then find 3 games similar to yours and read the reviews. Because players will always tell you exactly what they're feeling and what they want. They love to vent, especially if they have problems in a genre. So you can basically go to Steam, find 3, games similar to yours, read those reviews, and you'll find those nuggets of information to help you, figure out what's wrong in your genre. And so what I want you to look out for is when you're reading these, reviews, is how your game aims to solve those and fix those problems. Again, what you're doing here is creating a new category in your genre because you don't want to compete, right, with other games in your genre. And by answering this question, you're clearly defining, what category your game is in so that players will understand what you're doing, in less than 3 seconds. And by showing and telling players exactly how your game aims to fix, those problems, you'll increase your chances of getting attention and getting more wish lists. But if you can't clearly define your category, then you'll just end up, trying to compete for attention in your genre. And no matter how hard you try all those marketing techniques, like posting on social media, sending out keys to YouTubers or game journalists, or making a game trailer, or having a professional Steam page. All those techniques won't grab attention because it doesn't directly speak to the player, right? Again, the player is bombarded with marketing messages every day, all day, that they only pick out the stuff that directly speaks to them. And again, to make this concept click, think back to your game engine. That game engine aimed to solve the problem you're having, right? And all their marketing is focused on trying to solve your problem, your specific problem, and that's how they manage to get your attention, right? And again, it's the same with your game. If you want to grab attention and increase your chances of getting more wish lists, then create a new category. But to do that, you got to figure out what problem your game is trying to solve in your genre, and then you use that as your core marketing message when you start pumping out content. All right, if you're still stuck, then here's how to get free help. So you can reach out to me, my contact info is below, and let me know exactly, where you're stuck at, and tell me more about your game, and I'll share, and if you have any links to your game, share those with me, and I'll help you the best I can. Again, my name is Dariusz. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and good luck marketing your game. All right, see ya.